Hi there guys, welcome to the Dutch SC channel, thank you very much for tuning in. And this here is my FrSky Horus X10S radio. A series radio, very nice radio, looks nice and it's a joy to fly with, I have to tell you. I haven't done a long-term review of this radio yet, I might, but long story short, this is a nice radio. It does cost a few pennies, but for that few pennies you do get an excellent radio. Okay, at the back of this radio I've got an FrSky R9 module for my, well, long range. I guess it's intended to be used for long range, right? And in this video I'm gonna tell you my experience with this system. Actually, I have two of them, as you can tell. Yeah, so why do I have two of them? And why actually did I order them, first of all? And, well, what are my experiences with this system here? Okay, so this video will not be super duper positive about this system. So yeah, if you are a fan of this system or FrSky, you might want to turn away. Click another video if you only want to hear the positive news. It will have a happy ending though, this video. So let's get into it, here we go. Okay, the R9 system from FrSky. On your left you see the version I bought in 2018. And this is the newer version, the current version, which I ordered in 2019. So this video is in no way sponsored. I bought both of them with my own money. And yeah, I guess if it would have been sponsored, well, the sponsor wouldn't be very happy with this video. And I'm pretty sure FrSky won't be happy with this video either. I don't really care. I don't have any affiliation with FrSky whatsoever. Okay, so I ordered these modules. Well, actually, let me start with the first one. I ordered this one to get more ease of mind. That's basically what it comes down to. If you fly a little further out, maybe you fly over water, which I often do in the Netherlands. Maybe you are flying in a forest behind a lot of trees. Ease of mind. Right? Especially over water, you don't want to lose your quadcopter or airplane. But even in a forest, well, if you crash, you might not ever see your quadcopter again, right? It's pretty easy to lose a quadcopter. But even at shorter ranges, you don't want to crash, well, more than you need to, right? So, yeah, that's what I ordered this system for. Also, partially because I just wanted to try it, right? As a reviewer, I want to see if it actually works. Can I recommend this system? Okay, 2018 I ordered this one in, right? So I haven't done a review of it yet. And it's the end of 2019 by now. And I guess that means that, well, I don't recommend it. I haven't recommended it. I haven't gone back to you and say, well, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Order yourself an R9M system and you'll be happy. Long story short, I ordered this system to fly maybe a little further out and still feel comfortable in doing so. Right, that's what I ordered it for. Also, with this R9 system, you've got a couple of receivers. I've got one here. This is one I used in a quadcopter. And as you can tell, it's positively tiny. This is an R9MM receiver. And it came with this antenna you see here. Which is definitely one of the downsides of these longer range systems, bigger antenna. But the receiver itself, it's you can fit that in the smallest of quadcopters, right? Tiny, tiny receiver. So that's convenient. Now, during my use of the original one, the one from 2019, I was frustrated on a lot of instances. I've had 3 receivers for this one. So I had 3 quadcopters in use with which used this module, right? And the biggest obstacle in its use was the firmwares. And it's not really a problem to have to update firmwares to maybe get rid of some beta problems. This is definitely a beta product here. Even though I bought it in a store, I didn't get it sent as a test sample or anything. I bought it, but it's definitely a beta product. There were frequent firmware updates for this module, and updating the module itself isn't that big of a problem. However, updating the receivers, in most cases, well, in most cases, you have to, disassemble your quadcopter, get that receiver out and update its firmware, and then reassemble your quadcopter, hoping that it still works, right? In most cases, I actually didn't. It somewhat worked, definitely not perfect, but it somewhat worked. And with any software, firmwares, you run the risk of, updating the firmware and then having it not work at all anymore, right? So I didn't want to run that chance. In most cases, I simply didn't update the firmware. And that is basically also the reason I bought the 2019 version. See, I was in the process of planning a new build of quadcopters. And, well, I needed my old quadcopters to still work as well. But I also wanted to try the new firmware, right? So I bought me a second one and I used the 2019 version on a new line of quadcopters. Let me show you those quadcopters actually. What you see here are my Ripley quadcopters, and I built all three in 2019. These are mostly identical, not 100%, but they are definitely mostly identical. And these are my daily drivers, if you will. So if I'm flying freestyle FPV and it's not for a review, I fly these quadcopters. So if I go out and fly for my personal fun, I take these quadcopters out. Yeah, so again, they are mostly identical, but version 1 over here has an R9 receiver. Version 2 has an R9 receiver, and the latest one, version 3 over here, Ripley 3, does no longer have an R9 system, R9 receiver in it. So yeah, during the course of the build of these quadcopters, I switched away from the R9 system. But again, this series of quadcopters is definitely why I ordered that second. Is this the second one? Yeah, this is the second R9 module I have. For these quadcopters I ordered this one. Right? Again, I ordered me the R9 system for ease of mind. These quadcopters are not cheap. So some ease of mind when I'm flying further away from me, behind trees and such, or over water. Well, I like me some peace of mind. Yeah, so that's basically the why I ordered these two modules covered, right? Let's now discuss my experience with these R9 modules, or the R9 ecosystem. I am actually going to start this story at the end. Yeah, at the miserable end of my R9 experience. So this again is one of those Ripley quadcopters. This is version 1, Ripley 1. And yeah, I ordered me this 2019 version of the R9M module. I'm running, I'm not completely sure which version I'm running, but it's from this year, February 2019, I think. And yeah, great that you can't see what version you have on your module or receiver, right? Not. So that's one of the gripes with the system. You can't see what version you actually have on your module or receiver. Yay, okay, so, but, okay, at least it's the same version I have on this module and on my receivers, the Flex version, if that's of concern to you. So, I built me this quadcopter, I hooked up this module into my radio, and I've got an R9MM receiver in this quadcopter with an antenna over here. I have to say that it's a little inconvenient to mount these antennae, but oh well, if you get more range or a better reception for your troubles, then who cares really? So, this quadcopter isn't cheap. I'm not sure how much it costs, but it's, well, it's more than 300 euros at least. So it's not cheap, at least in my book. And here is a very short clip from my maiden FPV flight with this quadcopter. There. Let me actually show you again. Pay attention to a little twitch in this video. Right? What the hell is that? There's a little bit of a twitch, somehow as if I had me a spasm on my on the stick with my thumb, or some kind of reception problem. What the hell happened there? Well, I should tell you that I was flying approximately 30 meters or less away from myself. So yeah, that's no range at all. Even the cheapest of toy grade quadcopters can reach 30 meters. Is that true? Yeah, I'd say that's true. So what was that? Was that a failsafe, what you saw there? Let me show you again. Small little twitch. Flip. Again, it kind of looks as if I slipped away from the stick with my thumb. What is that? Well, obviously I could look for that problem in my log. This quadcopter has a black box logging memory. And basically what I saw was that the receiver somehow relayed its information incorrectly to the quadcopter. And not on all channels. There was no failsafe at all. So, well, 30 meters, right? So reception wasn't a problem at all. But somehow the receiver relayed 2 channels, pitch and roll, faulty into my flight controller. I can't recall by how much exactly, but there was quite a big deviation for a brief second. And I could see in the DVR, in the recording I did with my goggle, there was no failsafe whatsoever. Simply that a few channels for a very short instance were relayed incorrectly into my flight controller. So again, that was my maiden flight with this system. So that's confidence inspiring, right? Yeah, you fly your, well, expensive, semi-expensive quadcopter, and I had me an action camera on the quadcopter. If I would have crashed, well, the quadcopter can stand a crash, of course, but I could have lost that camera. I could have crashed into a metal fence at that field. And you might wonder, well, okay, a little problem. Should you really be worried about that? Well, I'm starting at the end of the story for a reason. Let me show you a couple of clips from the old module with other quadcopters. And well, as you can tell, same thing, right? A little bit of a twitch. And I could have shown you 20 more of these clips. I never actually lost a quadcopter because of it, because it's a very short twitch. So yeah, you might then say, okay, not that big of a problem. Yeah, but all those videos were all fucked up as well. Sorry for my language, but some of those videos were nice flights, but the recording was 100% unusable because of those twitches. This is a freestyle quadcopter, remember? I built this quadcopter to maybe sometimes publish a video recorded with it. And oftentimes they are unusable because of those twitches. Not always. I've definitely had flights with this quadcopter with the R9 system that didn't have twitches in them, but just as many with twitches in them. Alright guys, I should add one more variable to this R9M story. You might say, well, you've only used this system with one radio. No, I haven't. I've used this system in this radio and in this radio, the Jumper T16. You could have said prior to watching this video, yeah, you've only tried one module. Well, I've tried two modules. You might have said, well, no, you've only used one receiver. No, I've had 8 of these receivers. You could have, I'm not sure, said, oh, you've only tried one firmware. Nah, multiple. What more? Different quadcopters. I've used this system in 4, 5 quadcopters by now. 5 quadcopters. Yeah. And the problem is persistent. I've had this problem with both of the modules, with several receivers, with multiple radios, and with different quadcopters and different firmwares. Basically what it now comes down to for me is that I've tried every angle and I'm done with it. At a certain point you'll have to step away from it and see if there are better options available to you, right? I've wasted first a lot of money on this and a lot of time done. Alright, if you are still interested in this R9 system from FrSky, and I'm not here to tell you any different, if that's what you want and if it works out for you, then all the better, of course. Let me tell you a couple of other things. You've got that module to worry about, and you can't forget to screw on that antenna every time you use it, right? In most transmitter transport cases you can't leave these antennas on, so that's a bit inconvenient, but oh well. Also, again, these R9mm receivers are positively tiny, and that's convenient. The antenna, on the other hand, are a bit of a nuisance. A 2.4 GHz antenna is definitely easier to mount on or on your model. But well, maybe it's no concern to you if you fly an airplane. You can use this system on airplanes, right? Then it might not be a problem at all. And last but not least, the R9M system from FrSky is definitely inexpensive. Compared to Crossfire from TBS, Team Black Sheep, which is a competitor obviously, this system is far more affordable. The module itself is pretty cheap and the receivers are very cheap as well. So yeah, you could simply try it if you'd want to. If you don't want to waste your time and money, however, and you do want long range, you could either go with the TBS Crossfire system. Is known to work very well. Also costs more, obviously, but again, it's known to actually work. So it'll save you time and it'll cost you a little bit more money. I forgot one thing. I've had by now 10 of these receivers, I think. I'm not completely sure. 3 of them were faulty, didn't do anything right out of the box, well, bag. I've got one more here in the package. This one might be faulty. Yeah, that's what I read about these receivers as well. Some just don't work at all, and I haven't even bothered with reclaiming my money. I knew what I was getting into, basically. So yeah, if you would want to try this system and you want to try it in one model, I'd encourage you to order at least 2 receivers. Yeah, that'll save you a bit of frustration probably. So it'll come to no surprise to you that the R9M system is out the door for me. I won't be investing any more time in that system. I'll get rid of it. And as I showed you before, this is one of my Ripley quadcopters. This is Ripley 3, the latest one. And yeah, it doesn't have an R9 receiver in it. This one has a FrSky receiver in it actually. So as I mentioned in the start of this video, let's end the video on a positive note. The story did end well. This entire R9M saga made me look at other radio options, right? So that's where this here radio came in. This is the FrSky Paladin PL-AT. Now, this radio wasn't new to me. I've actually been following the development of this radio for about 6 years. In case you wonder how long the development of a product like this can take. It can be done faster. This project for FrSky took particularly long, partly because I think they weren't sure if they should be selling such a it's not a higher end radio. FrSky is known for budget radios, right? But, well, the R9M saga for me made me look at this radio a couple more times, and it became available this year. So that's a bit, well, convenient, I guess. The timing was right, and if I wouldn't have been a reviewer, I'm not completely sure what I would have done. Hard to say actually, but by now, I've had this radio for a couple of months. I am extremely happy with this radio from FrSky. So yeah, for me that's the positive twist to this story. This entire R9M saga made me look at this FrSky radio a bit more. And I probably wouldn't have tried it otherwise. And I'm very happy I did. This is an excellent radio. Now we're actually back at the start of this video. I started the video with this FrSky Horus X10S. So is this Paladin radio a lot better than what I have here, this Horus X10S? No, not in every sense. For instance, the FrSky has a nicer screen. You can actually use this screen in the outdoors, whereas on the FrSky this screen leaves to be desired. Yeah. And also I very much like the looks of this FrSky Horus. The one I have with the carbon fiber looks, looks like an expensive radio. And this Paladin radio, it looks industrial. Especially if you feel the radio, you might think that most of what you see here is plastic, which it isn't. Actually, most of what you see here is aluminium. So if you'd have this radio in your hands, you'd definitely feel the quality of this radio. But not only that, the range of this radio and the precision of the sticks and the resolution is all better than on this FrSky radio. Now, I won't tell you that there's really a lot wrong with this FrSky radio, but the range is definitely better on this FrSky radio, and not just a little bit better, but quite substantially better. I've had range issues with this FrSky radio in a couple of kilometers, especially when I'm flying low, which is, well, that makes sense, right? I've never had issues on similar flights with this FrSky radio. Okay, and again, the sticks are more precise. Not that the sticks on this Horus X10S are imprecise, but better. And the resolution is also the new FrSky AF-HTS3 system is faster than the old non-access system from FrSky. And lastly, FrSky is trying to push us into an incompatible access system. Well, thank you very much, FrSky. That's together with this radio being crippled for use with crossfire. Basically, that annoys me to no end. I bought this radio with my own money, and a week after I received it, I learned that this radio has been intentionally crippled by FrSky to not be compatible with crossfire. This radio, compatible with crossfire, thank you very much. Yeah. Oh well, so there's a political side to this story as well, but I don't really want my videos to be political. For me, it's more than enough reason that this this radio has a better range and is more precise. Right? That should be the main reason. There is, however, yeah, that political side, and you'll have to decide if that has any importance to you whatsoever. Alright, and that's it. Basically, I hope this was somehow informative or entertaining, I'm not sure. But this was, well, I wouldn't call it a review. It's simply a story about my experience with this R9M system. So yeah, maybe it has some informative value to you. Also, I'd like to know if you use this system and it does work out for you. Who knows? Always informative, maybe to other viewers, so don't hesitate to leave your experiences with this system or maybe Crossfire in the comment section below. Always appreciated. For now, I want to thank you for your attention. Catch you on the next video. Bye bye.